Hello again, duelists. I am Charlie, the Kybercorp intern, and in this video, I'm going to be going over my Runick Invoked deck profile. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright everybody, let's go ahead and jump into the cards here. So, starting off, we are playing the one Runick Allure, just to accelerate our game plan, and it adds an extra banish on top of all of our quick plays. So before we know it, our opponent's deck's already down to little or nothing. So just because of the little extra advantage it adds on to all of our quick play spells, we are running the one copy of it. We're also doing 3 Runick Fountain. We're playing 3 instead of 2, just because we want to make sure that we're always being able to see it. Even if our opponent's getting rid of some, banishing some, destroying some, we still have 1 in the tank. So we are playing 3 max copies. Of course, we're also playing 3 of the best card in the deck, the Runick Tip, to be able to add anything, plus get a banish off of it. You just search whatever you need in any given situation. It's the best card, so you have to play 3 of it. I shouldn't say you have to. If you really want to play 1 or none, or 2, you're a maniac, go for it. I'm playing 3. 3 Runick Slumber as well, just to be able to get our game plan off the ground going first, since we can target our own monsters. We don't have to wait for our opponent to have a kind of board established to do this one. And actually get some banishes off of it too, instead of just using it for the summon effect from the extra deck. These next ones I'll do all together, since they kind of, I feel like, fit a theme. We're doing 3 Runick Destruction, 3 Flashing Fire, and 3 Freezing Curses. This is the way that we're interacting with our opponent the most. Spell and Trap Pop plus a banish 4, Special Summon Monster Pop plus a banish 2, and an effect monster negate plus a banish 3. So all of those come up in almost every matchup. Even if your opponent's not setting things, they probably are activating spells and traps, and you can chain Runick Destruction to the activated card, popping the face up one and still banishing 4. So don't forget about that play in case you're pressed, you really want to get some more banishes but your opponent's not setting something. Don't forget that you can always pop face up stuff as soon as they activate it. 3 Runick Smiting Storm as well. Sometimes I see people play this at 2 or none, but I do like it a lot because we're playing a control heavy build. The games do go on for a while. Our opponent's board ends up getting quite full, even though we are dealing with it bit by bit, turn by turn. So because it can create such a huge swing and advantage as far as their deck going from considerable size to very very small in a blink. Smiting Storm, we're playing 3 of it. And then for our last Runick cards, we're doing 2 Golden Droplet and 2 Runick Dispelling to go with it. This does force our opponent to draw a card so they get some advantage. So we usually like to combo Droplet with Dispelling, which forces them to discard the card that they just added, or one of a card after they just added one. Only 2 though, because it's a bit dependent on our opponent not really being ahead already. Then for the non-Runick cards, we have 3 Magical Meltdown. We are playing the Invoked package, as you could assume from the title of this video. 2 Invocation, not 3, because we have so many ways to search it, and we are oftentimes adding it back and cycling through them, so 3 ends up just kind of clogging our hands. And of course 3 Alistair the Invoker. The one little bit of tech and a little bit of spice that we are including is also 1 Book of Moon. In case our opponent targets the fusion monster that we have on the field, we don't have a Mecha negate, or we already used it, we can quickly Book of Law into something equally as powerful and just something else that provides interaction on our opponent's turn. That, though, is the Invoked package. For the last bits of the main deck here, we are doing our power spells. So we have Card Destruction to accelerate our Fountain game plan. Card of Demise, just to be able to draw even more cards, get an 8-card opening hand. 1 Day of Peace, just be able to live a little bit longer, and for the card advantage, which is great. And then lastly, 2 Book of Eclipse, not only for Kashtira to be able to open up your zones again, but also in order to actually get our opponents to draw, because it does thin their deck a bit. So it works out in multiple different regards as far as this deck strategy. But that is the main deck. So let's go ahead and move on to the extra. Starting off with the Runicks, we have 2 of my favorite, which I believe is the best one. Hugin, or Hugin, the Runick Wings. This searches your Fountain, and it's the protecting card, which is why it's so ridiculously good and broken, if you ask me. 1 Moonin for the life point gain and to search the Allure. Once we get, some spells in our hand, we can search Allure to add a little bit more advantage onto those spells each time we activate one. And then for the dogs, the protective pup, Gary, and the offensive pup, Frecky. This is really good to chump block stuff in the battle phase. Frecky, you end up playing a different game plan because you actually start attacking with Frecky, but it ends up providing some flexibility that you wouldn't otherwise have, and it gets a Runick quick play from graveyard to hand, which none of the other cards do. Gary only adds a non-quick play. For the Invoked, we're doing 2 Alistair the Invoker of Madness, since either of the fairies can bring it out with in combination with Alistair. And then you just get to make 2 really powerful invoked fusions. And if you have Fountain in your hand as well, you oftentimes can gain advantage after doing the discarding for it too. For the fusions, 2 Kaliga, because we can make it multiple times, and it's a really great invoked card. 1 Mechaba for the negate, and for the Book of Law targets, we have 1 Raijin and 1 Raijin and 1 Casitas. This is just for the Book of Moon effect, which is still very, very powerful and not to be underestimated. And in Invoked Casitas, sometimes decks just have a really hard time getting around something that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. In combination with the utility that the Runick spells provide too, this can be an absolute monster to try to get around. Lastly, 1 Invoked Augudes. If you can combo this with Kaliga or with Mechaba, you're in a really good spot. And then lastly, Invoked Elysium, which was absolutely killer in the tier format. Not as amazing now, but still very good, so it's worth including even in the new format. But technically there is 1 last invoked card. It's the 15th card in the extra deck, but is it really invoked, or is it just an easy Mechaba? We're playing 1 Artemis, the Magistus Moon Maiden. Moving on to the side deck, the sideboard. Now, this is a video that's being filmed in mid-early February. This is after the Tearlamanet ban list where they got massacred. How about that Mathmech deck profile, by the way? I'll link that up here. But I released that video the night before the ban list, and I really I regretted it immediately. There's so many things changed. But this format is still yet to be kind of solved. So depending on how things go, make some changes in this side deck for your own preferences. Obviously, if you're playing at locals a lot, change the side deck for your locals. This is definitely just going to change and be subject to change based on how you play the game and the environment that you play the game in. Just keep that in mind. But what we're doing is 3 Lava Golem and 3 Chaos Hunter for the monsters. Both of these are for the Kashtira matchup. Lava Golem is a bit more diverse, but Chaos Hunter is definitely targeted Kashtira hate, and they're both amazing cards to see in your hand. Really good to see either or both going second. Chaos Hunter is really good to see first or second against Kashtira. Those are the only monsters we're doing in the side deck. For the spells, we're doing 3 Raigeki, also to just put some Kashtira hate down. But also it's really great against other boards too. The fact that we can play 3 Raigeki in this day and age, I'm going to take advantage of it. I see people playing Dark Hole to go against Kashtira, so I figured why not Raigeki. And it's not Lightning Storm because everyone's summoning Kashtira stuff in defense. 3 Cosmic for the spell and trap matchups. Depending on where the format goes, the matchups I start seeing myself play against, I'm touching my cards way too much. Leave the cards alone. I'll probably add a little bit more back row hate or a little bit more protection for my back row, but definitely keeping the Cosmics in at least, or some kind of back row hate. So this is what we're doing right now. And then for the last ones, and this is kind of like the flex spot depending on where the format goes, we're doing 3 Summon Limit. Really, really phenomenal because we're always being able to summon 2 or less after our first turn. Even in our first turn, sometimes we're only summoning once or twice. So Summon Limit, killer card, really puts a hamper on things for our opponent, and oftentimes it almost never inhibits us in any way. Alright, duelists, well that's the deck. Hope you enjoyed, hope you found some helpful information in here, some maybe interesting ideas to take back into your build of Runick or Invoked, either way. But that's all I got for you today. If you can go ahead and do me a huge favor, hit like down below, show your support for the video if you found it or myself helpful or entertaining. Also, go ahead and hit subscribe if you're looking for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. I am planning on doing a lot, just pushing out so much content this month, not even sticking to a schedule, just as soon as I think of an idea, get in front of the camera, get in front of the computer, and putting it out there, and then we're going to do a really awesome kind of just schedule just for content all throughout the week after that point, once I get more of a routine going. But definitely subscribe if you want to be in the loop, and hit the notification bell to be the first to know when any new videos are getting dropped on this channel. That's everything for me, guys. I really appreciate your time that you took out of the day to watch this video of me. It really means the world. It's crazy to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm the Kaiba Group intern. I have to get back to work. You all gotta take care of each other. Take care. Peace.